Shalom Rainicorns, it is Ellie the Empress here. So, we're going to be talking about self confidence, self love, all that good stuff, and just making sure that you're good for yourself, you know? Making sure that you are good for yourself, okay? Because a lot of people have things, misconstrued isn't even like a word, bro. Like, it's completely out of alignment. So when you're in alignment with yourself, I think you're able to do everything that's necessary for you. So that means being within your own frame, being within your own pendulum of existence, you know. Make sure you look that up, being in a pendulum, because that's basically like a pendulum is a what's it called? A jewel. It's a piece of jewelry that can be used for, spiritual purposes, but a reality pendulum is basically somebody else's reality that you exist within. And, as children, of course, we live in our parents' pendulums, stuff like that. But when you get older, of course, it's up to you to break out of your parents' pendulum. There's still a family pendulum that you will always be tied to because of bloodline. And that is what it is. But when you get older and you don't learn about like detachment and you have like attachment issues and stuff of that nature, then you can get tied up in other people's pendulums without having your own sense of identity outside of their pendulum. So if you get tied up into someone else's pendulum, it's highly important to remember to still be you within that until you can either break out or continue being yourself within that situation. So like if you have a job, let's say like just for example, if someone works at Tesla, they're automatically in Elon Musk's pendulum. Automatically, just because someone who works at Twitter X, they're automatically in his pendulum. Someone who works at SpaceX, automatically in his pendulum. And so anything he does could affect them potentially because that's their job. So who is that person outside of working for Elon Musk? They have to make sure that they have their own sense of self-identity, their own sense of self-confidence and things of that nature. Just using that as an example. It doesn't necessarily have to be your job. It could be a friend group. It could be a community group. It could be anything that you're a part of or we're a part of. Anything that you're dealing with, a club, a book club, it sounds wild, but like old ladies be having drama. Like an old lady would join a crochet club, and there'd be some drama going on. And I remember, um, like back in 2020, and I was first like getting started with the. Well, it was meant to come off. First getting started with making my gardening content. I had seen like my mom and my aunt. They would watch certain content creators that were gardeners and stuff. And there was gardening beef. I was like, not the gardeners beefing, bro. Man, that man ain't no community safe. Ain't no community safe from the beef. So that's why it's important to stay within your own frame and just continue being who you are as an individual. So if you are part of some sort of group of individuals, it's like always stay true to yourself. Okay? Always have your own self-confidence. Take a break from people. Take a break from whatever it is. So I just got off my Instagram break. And so all of my followers over there, I'm not going to say that they are in my pendulum. I am very much about like people expressing themselves and being themselves all the time, 100%. So I do my best to not have a particular pendulum, even though I call my audience Rainicorn. So even y'all here who are on my channel, I'm just here to be an example. I'm here to be an inspiration potentially, and I'm here to sell you whatever is necessary for your ascension, your growth, and your expansion as an individual, your own personal and spiritual evolution. To get caught up in like my personal beliefs and like my personal life circumstances and stuff like that, that's not my goal at all. Not at all. Whereas some people feel like you have to be involved in their life 100% to be a part of their life in any instance. And it's just like, that's not true. I can detach from, especially when you're talking about content creators on the internet, I can detach from anything. I don't have to be a part of what someone else has going on, what some brand has going on, what some organization has going on. I don't have to be a part of that 100% totally and fully. And that's where I think like the internet has really gotten a hold of people's mindsets. Okay, I gotta check my phone real quick. Where they think they have to be all in on something. And it's like, you don't have to be all in with anything. Okay, cool. She texted me. Awesome. Because I sure forgot. So, you do not have to be part of anything 100% if it's going to risk your own self-identity, who you are as an individual. So, if you get caught up into a situation like that, you have to learn how to detach. Like, it starts, of course, young, when you have to detach, like I said, from your parents' pendulum. But as you get older, you know, it's like going to college and joining a fraternity. You don't have to be down with every single thing that the fraternity or the sorority does. Like, I know that I'm not Greek, so I wouldn't know. But from what I see, it's just like a lot of behaviors that are weird to me, where it's like, yeah, you can still be an individual. You ain't got to do all that, bro. You ain't got to do all that, fam. Like, you are still an individual. You can still do what you want to do in life. You don't have to abide by every single code that these people say. And if you do, you got to really question, what's the point then? You got to really question that if you cannot keep your own individuality as an individual. If you have to abide by every single code that this particular group says. No, you have to keep yourself individual as a person. And so, some of y'all know from the other day, I had started refreshing my ponytail. And so I'm continuing to finish doing that. I had just got off of Instagram where I started finishing up and just talking to y'all a little bit. And yeah. MJ, can I get the pillow? Appreciate it so much. Okay. And so I just chilled up there for a little bit with y'all. So if you follow my Instagram, then you know what I'm talking about. If not, I am not encouraging you to follow my Instagram. You can if you want to, but you know, I'm really trying to get everybody over here because this is where it makes most sense. I don't like the whole thing. Like, social media is different from what it used to be. I'm going to say it like that. I'm going to just say it like that. It's different from what it used to be. Like, of course, you know, oh, I would love to have more followers. Yeah, I got 10,000 followers. I'm good. I don't need more followers over there. Like, you know, if you want to follow, you can, but I'm not asking you to, sort of thing. And the way that Instagram treats everything, I just... YouTube is more the vibe anyway, because everything is so weird. So yeah, YouTube is more the vibe. And I prefer to communicate with y'all on this platform regardless. But yeah. It's a different sort of mindset, which again, part of the pendulum of different things. Like, even us using social media apps. Facebook has always been Mark Zuckerberg's pendulum. So whatever he wanted to do with Facebook, Meta, Instagram now, that's something that we've all had to abide by in order to use those platforms. They're not things that we want to go by all the time. So that's why it's important to always have your own type of platform. Always have your own website for whatever it is you're doing. If you have a brand, a personal brand where you make content and offer services, have your own brand, have your own website.
Why did the toilet refixing?
It just does that sometimes. Sometimes it rinses out randomly. Um, if you have a business, of course, have a website. If you have a business, like, of course, do that. Cause like I've announced to y'all, I'm not gonna be on social media in the year 2025. I'm getting off of social media altogether in 2025. I'm literally going back to living an old-fashioned type of life. Like, of course, am I gonna continue to do things like watch movies and stuff like that? For sure. But as far as having social media, I'm still gonna have an email. I'm still going to participate on people's independent platforms. If I'm on a newsletter, if I'm on an email list, I can still participate with my favorite creators that way. But this social media dopamine stuff, no, no. Getting caught up in the collective pendulum of the reactionary content. Mm-mm, mm-mm. It's not okay. And having the confidence to do so. I can go 12 months without social media. I'm practicing. Like I said, I just got back on my Instagram after, I don't know how long it was that I was off of there. Maybe a month or so. A few weeks, something like that. Almost a month, something around there. It was definitely at least 2.5 weeks, but I'm pretty sure it was like 3.5, 4 weeks. And so in the midst of all that, all I did was work on myself, work on my businesses, and just work on my home life. Like, it's just very, very simple life concepts that people have allowed social media to skew a perspective of. Hey, turn that down. No one said that you have to be, of course, you have to be perfect or anything like that. Like, but if you're too wrapped up in social media, you're going to think you're behind on anything. And it's just like, of course, universally, we all know we're exactly where we need to be for our particular life circumstances. And this is our law of attraction. We have attracted everything necessary for our current stance in life. However, knowing the fact that social media has a lot to do with that is a problem for most people. And I refuse to be affected by it. Like, I simply refuse. I refuse. So, like I said, I'm leaving. Because it makes no sense anymore. Social media wasn't what it was like roughly even 5 years ago. It was a totally different sort of space. Yes, there were still certain types of issues that existed, but the way that things are now, it's just like everybody needs to take a step back. And I know that I'm not going to be, you know, all I can do is be an example. I can lead horses to water. I can only encourage people to do what I'm doing. As far as even if you don't get off of social media all the way, just take a break and use social media differently than how the program is. The program is for you to be on social media all day, every day, as much as possible. For no reason, being a consumer, right? So even being on a stream like this one, if you decide to watch the replay or you're watching live, is breaking the program because we're transmuting the uses of it. This is not feeding any sort of negativity. This is not feeding some sort of negative stereotype or narrative of anything. It's actually the complete opposite. So by doing that, that's already breaking the pendulum of the collective consciousness. Because we don't want to be part of the collective consciousness. We're intending to be part of the divine consciousness and to assist the divine consciousness. Because the collective consciousness is panic, worry, and all the low vibrational stuff. Because that's what's spewed out. That's what's fed. That is the majority. The majority mindset. Mm-mm. Nope. Oh, this was really... Oof. Here. Okay. And so, like earlier, I did do some cleaning in my house. And it's like cleaning physically is a spiritual practice. And even that can sound far-fetched to people who are unfamiliar with it, but it's literally a ritual. Not just the way you do things, but the fact that you're doing it. Because of course you're cleaning up dirt. Whatever sort of dirt it is, or whatever sort of cluttered space, you're clearing out that cluttered space. Of course. However, what does that cluttered space represent? What does that dirt represent? It's like, oh, well, that's just a
Wait,
dirt.
The dirt that you're talking about?
Yeah. It's like, oh, that's
what
just
type of dirt is it?
Well, I'm speaking on it.
Wait, is it rocky dirt or something?
I'm speaking on it. If you let me finish talking. It's like, oh, well, that's just a dirty plate. Or that's just mud from outside on my shoes. All I did was sweep the floor. All I did was mop. All I did was wash dishes. All I did was clean up dust on the windowsill. Okay, well, let's take dust. Let's take dust on the windowsill. Dust on the windowsill is our thoughts in our subconscious and unconscious mind that we don't think about consciously. Day by day, some thoughts get put in there. We don't really think about it too much. We're just, going about life, and things are being fed to our subconscious and unconscious mind. Dust just building up. No big deal. No big deal. It's not huge. It's not drastic. I can't see it happening. It's just dust. It's just build up. All of a sudden, you go to the windowsill, and it's just, now your fingers brown or black. But it was just dust, though. It was just small amounts of buildup, though. How did it get so thick? How did it get so nasty? How did it start affecting the air quality so much? Your subconscious mind feeds your conscious mind 24/7. So all the stuff you're not noticing, all the stuff you're not seeing is what's affecting your conscious mind, whether you know it or not, because it's affecting your subconscious mind. And that's where subliminals and subconscious reprogramming come into play. So when you're intentionally cleansing, of course, clean your house. Like, of course. But you also have to clean your mind. The renewal of your mind. Changing your mindset about things. Removing the gunk that other people put there. Because a lot of times we're not intentionally putting gunk and dust on our own windowsill. We're not filling up our own subconscious minds with trash. Not intentionally, at least. A good amount of us. Those of us who are on our self-love, self-care journeys. We have to be cautious of other people. If we have visitors at our house, they may have some dust that we don't see. If we're getting some work done on our house, the repair people, they may have some dust that we can't see. They may say things that are subliminally damaging that we may not be aware of. So when you're thinking in a literal sense of keeping my temple clean. It's not just about having the best cleaning products, the most natural cleaning products. Sometimes it really is having some good sage around. Sometimes it really is whatever sort of binaural beats or pure tone hertz, pure tone frequencies, having those playing to cleanse out the energy, cleanse out your subconscious mind. Listening to audiobooks, podcasts, and subconscious reprogramming audios so that all those little dusties that were sitting on your windowsill in your mind, in your subconscious mind, in your unconscious mind, they get cleaned out. So you no longer can get your finger and swipe up dirt. It's just clear. So that's how you have to think. That's how you have to train yourself to think if you don't already think that way. And whether it comes to your methods of parenthood, it comes to your methods of being a feminine. If you're a masculine, it is what it is. But when it comes to your aspects of being a mother or parent, like I said, and being like your mentality on finances, your mentality on being part of a community, like how are those things shaped? Were they based off of the example of individuals you look up to or individuals who you were in close proximity to? Because the people who influence us the most are the ones we're in close proximity to, not necessarily the ones that we look up to the most. And we have to all be real with ourselves and realize that, well, while I really do look up to this person, this other person influenced me the most because they're in my ear constantly. So whether I wanted to listen to them or not, because they were in close proximity to me and they used the power of repetition and consistency, I was influenced heavily by this individual and their ideals. You have to be careful of that because that's how you become a person. The 5 people that you associate with the most are who you are. You are the average of the 5 people that you are around a lot, that you're influenced by a lot. So if you take a look at the 5 people who you're surrounded by, it's just like, oh, okay, I don't like where this person is in life. I don't like where this person is in life. I don't like, if you're, not judging, you're just being real. It's like, I prefer not to have that going on in life. I need to be around different people. And that's when you start networking. That's when you start making new friends. That's when you start making new associations until you can find a nice solid group of people. Because it doesn't even have to be a group of people. It can literally be your own individual people that you associate with. Y'all don't have to be a group of people. Again, with that pendulum. Like, you can keep your friendships and associations private. Like, of course, if you have things like gatherings or whatever, you can invite everybody. But, like, when it comes to, trying to have a big group of friends, sometimes it just doesn't work that way. Or maybe it just doesn't work that way in the beginning and things have to grow to that. But trying to make things be that from the jump is not wise. No. You develop your own relationship with people and you allow them to influence you when necessary. Because it could be, a spiritual, natural girly who's watching my content and doesn't have anybody to relate to as far as attempting to try to have artificial stuff going on. And it's like, yeah, I want to, wear a weave. I want to wear a wig. I want to have nails. But everybody around me is going to judge me because they always want me to wear my natural hair. People darn near tried to bully me into continuing to wear my afro. Bro, I'm not doing that shit. Like, I'll wear my afro when I want to wear my afro. And I'll wear nails when I want to wear nails. I'll wear a ponytail when I want to wear a ponytail. You're not going to bully me into doing stuff just because you think because you like it, because you think that's what I'm supposed to do to appease whatever mindset that you have as an individual. I am my own individual. And that's where self-confidence comes in. Self-confidence and boosting and self-support through spirit. Okay, you don't do things for validation because what other people say, what other people want you to do, and you do things because other people say that it'll look good, it'll be good, whatever. You listen to your own spirit team and your own spirit guides, and you do what's necessary for yourself. You are responsible for your reality, nobody else. King Say said, "Hey Divine, what's good? I seen your Instagram not there no more." I was checking in my DMs and I didn't see nothing, so I don't know what's going on with that. And so, taking that into consideration, it's like loving yourself is not even because, like, could I do the whole love myself thing without the fake hair, without the nails? Of course, like, this self love starts before you start buying things. If you decide to buy anything, if you decide to buy clothes, if you decide to do all those things, but putting yourself into a different mind frame physically, buying a new wardrobe, upgrading your appearance, that is a really big part of self-love because if you are wearing the same things and looking the same way, that could keep you stuck in an old paradigm. So sometimes you need that physical boost just to boost into a different reality. That's called quantum leaping. It's called quantum leaping. You come across people you would have never come across before because of your physical appearance. You start doing things you would have never done before because you have a different routine. Okay? Say, yeah, it's deactivated right now. Okay. And you start making more intentional life choices. Once you start making intentional life choices, you don't just do any and everything just because. You're making your righteous decisions for righteous intentions. You move a lot slower, you move more carefully, and you feel better about the things you do. Because it's not about accomplishing things anymore. It's just about moving towards what your goals are and knowing that you are moving towards your goals rather than following up behind whatever sort of narrative was painted to you. Whether that's something that happened in your family, whether that's a community or friend group you were part of and everybody has to uphold this particular standard, just based on social cues. Like, it's not even meaning anything. When you have meaning in your life and your purpose and your mission, it doesn't even matter what happens because you know you're taken care of spiritually. The universe literally looks out for you when you're doing what you need to do. Everything you need is taken care of. Sage said, "I'm grateful for this experience. I'm grateful that you're here. Greatly appreciate you as well." And so, when you take that into consideration, like the whole concept of self-love, like that's even a selling point now. People want to abuse that, you know. Like I don't people have abused everything. They've used relationships to abuse relationships of people who want to be in healthy relationships. They've abused that. So people are abusing self-love where they don't even want you to love yourself healthily. It's weird, but you know, that's where we're at as a society where you have to intentionally do what's necessary for you. That's why there's not a video in the world. There's not a book in the world. There's nothing in the entire earth plane that can help you do what's necessary for you other than you and your spirit team. So you said absolutely 100. Because period. Once you connect to your spirit team and they will tell you exactly what you need to do for yourself. So for a feminine, maybe buying hair and nails and a new wardrobe is not necessary for her, to shift her reality, she could be going through the exact opposite. Maybe she's one of the girlies who does indulge in the artificial lifestyle more than the natural girlies do. And her life shift is taking off the hair and just going straight up natural. Taking off the eyelashes and the makeup and going barefaced. That could be her life shift. So it all depends on where you're at in your journey. Living Stone Gathuru said peace and love to all in here. Much gratitude and appreciation. You as well. And so as a mom, it could be a situation where it's like, okay, going through a shift in my parenting. You could be going through your child, like going through a huge growth spurt. Like you could be, you know, dealing with a toddler that's learning how to walk, a toddler that's learning how to speak. You have to communicate with your child in a particular way. You could be weaning off of breastfeeding if you breastfed. You could be introducing your child to solid foods, or even older kids changing up their curriculum. And so they're learning more advanced things now, where they're more in the self-learning aspect of things rather than you teaching them and sitting them down to have specific conversations about education. And now you can really just sit them on the computer or send them to a tutor, have them in some sort of group activity or program to learn stuff instead of you sitting down and talking to them. If you homeschool, so of course if you have them in an institution it's different, but if you homeschool, you know, it could be an entirely different transition and setting that you're going through. And it's just like, okay, well, what do I do now with my time? If I have to shift and do this with my children, well, you got to adapt and adjust and continue to make sure that you are your first priority. If you are dealing with a child that's getting older, as far as transitioning from infant to toddler or toddler to adolescent, then you have less time on your hands. They need more attention. But if you're talking about a teenager that's turning into a young adult, now all of a sudden you have more time on your hands. And you're like, well, what do I do with all this time? You know, you can pick up some sort of hobby that you enjoy. I know that sounds typical too. It's like, oh, a hobby, blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, when you allow yourself to just zone out and enjoy doing things, that's literally self-love. That is self-care. It's deeper than just finding something to do with your time. Sometimes, like, I remember I would literally just sit and meditate for hours. And a person who doesn't have the same sort of spiritual life that I do would be like, oh, I don't think I could just sit there for hours. Well, for me, it's not just sitting there for hours. I'm intentionally connecting with my spirit team. So I could go on several astral missions and enjoy all of my missions individually within those hours, within that time frame. And someone else probably just cannot relate to that. Well, it's not for you to relate to that. That's why you have to find what you like. You could be the neighborhood mom who always makes the snacks and all the kids come over and play video games.
Snacks.
Yes, the snacks. All the kids come over, play video games and play with your kids and stuff like that. And then you basically have a, you know, you could charge parents if you want to, but you basically have a free daycare at your house if you're not charging, because that's what you want to do. That's what you enjoy doing. And then again, all those kids get older. So unless those particular parents have more children to bring to the house, then you're just in a different space then, you know? All those kids get older, they start hanging out with other friends and they start doing other things and they develop their own hobbies and habits. Then that could be part of your transition of, well, I don't have these kids in my house anymore, or it's less kids and less activities, less things to do. What next? What do I fill up my time with? What do I fill up my stuff with? Like if you're talking about elementary school kids, now they're transitioning to middle school. They're not going to want to do the same things. You got to get a whole new set of video games, or they don't even want to be at the house anymore. Now you got to take them to the community center. Now you got to take them to some sort of fun place so they can have more fun, because they don't want to sit at the house and play video games after school. or during the day, whenever y'all are hanging out. So, what makes the most sense for you and what you have going on? You know, taking up things like baking, like food, oh my gosh, especially as a feminine, it's like such a thing. So, taking up things like baking, getting into traditional recipes and stuff like that, and going back to your roots, just getting more in tune with the way, yeah, you know, mama used to do stuff. That was what we called our great grandmother. My great grandmother, she was called mama. Just getting back to the way that mama used to do stuff. You don't have to be an old lady to have certain types of values in life. We're just supposed to be ladies. That's just what it is to be a lady. And it's not always catering to another person. Cooking is a vibe. Like, it's just a vibe. If you get it, you get it. You know, it shouldn't be something taboo or, oh, you're back to your traditional self. No, that's just how we're supposed to be. We're supposed to be able to cook our own food. I don't see why the narrative now is that it's such a surprise when a lady knows how to cook. That's just what we're supposed to do in life. We're supposed to cook our food. Like, things that have been taught to be gender roles is not a gender role. Males and masculines are supposed to know how to cook, but when you really just think about life, ladies literally produce food from our breasts. So wouldn't it make sense to continue to be able to cook the food for our children? Taking up things like gardening and preserving food. You know, that is self-love. That is self-care. Because you care enough about your body to intentionally not feed it GMO, genetically modified organisms. You want it to be as clean and lean as possible. Having a homestead, having your own chickens, to have your own eggs. Because even when I buy from the grocery store, I prefer to buy brown eggs. It's not too much of a difference, but I do notice it, so I prefer to go for that. But that's me personally, you know? If it was up to me, I would have chickens in my backyard. But even like with my transitional space right now, I don't have my garden, so I have to do other things with my time. And during my spiritual walk, my garden was a huge part of my spiritual experience, so not having it affected me greatly, but it's not like my life ended because I no longer have that particular garden. It's okay, what do I do in my transition to attracting my new garden? Well, where is my new garden? I already have the place picked out. I have pictures of it. I've driven by it. I've just observed the space and everything. So, by me focusing on the goals that I have and doing what I'm doing in the process of achieving those goals, I already know where I'm aiming to go. And I have something to encourage me every single day other than feeling scarcity, because it's not scarcity, it's just encouragement. It's a boost. It's confidence of, I know I am doing this. It's not I can do this, it's I am doing this. I'm actively doing this right now. So you have to have that same confidence about yourself in general. Not just the things you want to do, not just how you want to serve people, but like, I want to be the best for me because of me. And also having fun. Like, when people forgot how to have fun, it's weird. People really did forget how to have fun. And it's like, what is fun to you? It's fun to you, not what's fun to other people, what other people want to do for fun. Like some people's version of fun is very, very boring versus what somebody else may want to do for fun, which may be very, very exciting. But different things are exciting to different people. Different things are boring to different people. It's all objective and subjective. It's all very opinionated. Okay. Whew. So, yeah. I am almost done. I have like a little bit left. I don't know if y'all can see this huge hair pile right here. It's a huge hair pile. This is what I've clipped so far. And so, me taking care of this hair, it's fake hair. It's synthetic. So it's like, oh, well, why even do maintenance on it? Just buy a new one and keep it moving. I don't believe in that. Like, I do have a new one, but I don't believe in that. I believe in maintenance and resourcefulness and keeping up with the things that I have. So it's like, yeah, sure, this is synthetic, but I don't think that just because an aspect of something may be more real than another, that it deserves a different level of respect. Like everybody deserves equal respect, even though we're talking about inanimate objects. Okay, I could have a real hair piece and it did come from someone's scalp, which I wouldn't do, me personally. I can't do that because people's spirits, and I don't know what type of spirit they'd have. But I still take care of it regardless because it's mine. Like I paid for it. And the way that I do maintenance on my self-care items and my self-care products is the same way that I take care of myself. So it doesn't matter if it's quote unquote synthetic. It's still fake hair regardless. That's the thing, like it's fake hair regardless. So the same way I take care of my head, my temple, is the same way I'm gonna take care of my synthetic hair. You know, being in zen with life, being in a really, really peaceful, restful state, even while being active, that's where you want to be when your life becomes a meditative practice. Because I could have the attitude, ugh, I gotta refresh this hair and I gotta do this, I gotta do that, but it's literally me chilling. It's me chilling. And I made it a more fun experience. I made it an interactive experience. I went live on Instagram earlier doing it, and now I'm live here doing it while I'm sharing some encouraging words that somebody may need to hear. You know, this is really dark times right now for a lot of people. And even if someone was to watch this, you know, years from now, they could be going through dark times. And this could be just what they needed to hear to get out of their funk that they may be in. So, when you're on the road to greatness, things get really tough. They get really difficult. Because you don't even have to be on the road to greatness, like intentionally being like, I'm going to do something absolutely so amazing and no one's ever heard of it. You could do something that people have heard of a lot, but because it's you doing it, people could doubt it just because no one in your proximity has done it, which defeats the purpose, doesn't it? If no one in your proximity has done it, then why not you be the first person to do it? What you doing? Oh, you putting the button thing together?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you're the first person in your family to get a college degree, first person in your family to start a business, first person in your family to homeschool your children, first person in your family to go all natural. Everybody has either had perms or kept some sort of artificial hair in their head, and no one has seen their scalp ever. They only see their scalp at the hair salon when it's being washed. Okay, it's not all that significant to wear your natural hair. It's not all that significant to start a business. It's not all that significant to homeschool your children. But because it's different from the people around you, that's what makes it a big deal. If you look at darn near all celebrities, they all have to be homeschooled, most of them. Like some of them, yes, some of them do go to private schools. Some of them do go to college and stuff like that. But the majority of them have to be homeschooled. Like you're talking about child stars, they're on the road constantly. How are they supposed to manage going to school at a facility, at an institution? They have to do online school. They have to do homeschooling. They have to hire tutors, private tutors. It's necessary for their life. So if your lifestyle choices are different from, it doesn't have to be the mainstream media. It's just mainstream, like I said, the people around you, whatever pendulum you're in. Okay, not everybody's going to agree because they don't get it. So you have to be strong in your own frame, in your own pendulum, to make the choices based on your lifestyle choices versus what other people want you to do when their life has nothing to do with yours. It doesn't matter if you're a blood relative. Doesn't matter if they're close in your community. It could be a next door neighbor. It could be someone you went to school with and y'all used to be friends, or y'all still are friends and this is affecting your friendship. Like, say y'all work together at the same job, you decide to quit your job and start your own business and go traveling. Well, now y'all can't talk to each other at work anymore because you're traveling, doing whatever it is you're doing for business, and they're at work. And instead of making a schedule to prioritize y'all's friendship, that person decides to get salty and just doesn't be your friend anymore. When it's like all y'all had to do was prioritize your friendship. Being in a cubicle, again, you're in close proximity to each other. So being in next door cubicles just made y'all close physically. So if they can't keep the connection going long distance, that's just the end of that situation. You don't have to hold on to people. That sounds harsh and that sounds sad, but it is what it is. The only people that you're forced to still be in contact with are family members, and that's for legal reasons. You don't even have to associate with your blood family members. But if something legal comes up where your family is involved, that's just how life is. You have to legally be involved with your blood family members. But having the confidence to be able to risk it all, that's what's important. Standing up for whatever it is you believe in, that's what's important. Making the lifestyle choice to go vegan, to go vegetarian, to go pescatarian, to go keto, to stop drinking dairy milk. Like, people might look at you crazy to stop eating pork. Like, people might look at you crazy because that's what they're stuck in. Or you might look at them crazy because it's like, you're eating chitlins. But you're not judging them because that's what they've always done. That's what everyone around them has always done. You're just doing something different. So even if you're not judging them to their face and like being like, well, you should do this and you should do that, they'll come up to you and say, oh, well, you think you're better than us, or you think you're better than me. Well, I didn't say that. You're coming out of your mouth saying that. And that's not on some telepathy type of time either. People genuinely have their own insecurities where they wish they could make the better lifestyle choices, but they're so addicted. They're so addicted and they're stuck in a pendulum because they know that if they made different lifestyle choices, people would judge them. They'd rather not be judged and do the same thing as everyone else than to do what they genuinely want to do and risk getting judged. You have to be okay with people and their judgments, especially people who don't know you. But we're talking about more of the people who, you're in their pendulum, you're in their space, you're in their vicinity. And some people are genuinely out of love, just like trying to help when they give unwarranted advice. But you have to know the difference between unwarranted advice from someone who's really coming out of love and somebody who's just trying to get you to conform. Like, conformity is an absolute no. Because the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. So if you're around the same people, doing the same things all the time, how do you expect to have a change in life? If you're in a family of single moms who are constantly having baby dad issues, constantly having ex-husband issues, constantly going through situations like that, you can't expect to have a good marriage by being involved with them and having conversations about relationships. That doesn't make logical sense. You would have to be either completely separate yourself and develop your own mindset about it, or be around groups of people who have healthy, long-lasting relationships. It's very simple, but it's like, oh, well, that's my auntie. Oh, well, that's my grandma. Oh, well, that's, you know, my best friend. Oh, well, well, they're costing you your happiness romantically if you're refusing to let go of those ties. Being stuck in their pendulum of toxicity. Some of them have good spouses, they have great fathers for their children, but they decide to be toxic and just talk bad because that's what everyone else does. Oh, my husband this, oh, my baby dad that. And it's like they may not have any of those issues, but because they want to fit in, they'll conform to the negativity when it's not even true. When it's not even true, they decide to conform to that sort of behavior just to fit in. And that's why you have to separate yourself from the pendulum, because it can make you into a toxic person even if you have no reason to be a toxic person. You can have everything, just everything, but throw it away because you're around people who don't care. Ozzy Ross said, Ozzy Ross Jr., I am going to sew $4. Okay. And so when you're in a space of solitude, that's really where transformation happens, in solitude, because then you have the time to do, your whole self-care thing, have, like, develop your own routine of life, read whatever books, listen to whatever podcasts, take social media breaks if necessary, and just do your own thing for a good while. Your transformation happens in the cave. It happens in the cave. The lonely cave is where you transform. Ozzy Rush said, send my Perry to you. What's going on? Okay. It had paused for a second. But yeah, I don't know what Perry is. It said, send my Perry to you. I don't know what that is. And so, cleansing out that space and removing those old thought forms is what this is about. Renewing your mind and embracing the newness of life. Because it's the same life, of course, but when you change your perspective, you have a different experience in life. There could be two homeless people in the street. One's miserable, one's having a great time in life. Because they have different perspectives, that is what changes their experience. There could be two rich people, one miserable, and one having a phenomenal time in life. It's dependent upon their perspective and their thought processes. Azira said, I'm giving my title to you. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. And so, even working on things like speech, like people kind of don't take like all aspects of magic seriously. Speaking to yourself in the mirror is very, very powerful. So if you're working on your speech, like you type up something and you write up something and you act as if you're presenting it in front of a huge crowd of people, when you're just saying it to yourself in the mirror, you act as if you're saying it to a huge crowd of people. That is how you do your affirmations. That's the most powerful way that you can do affirmations versus just saying some stuff or reading some stuff. You read it to yourself in the mirror in speech form. And then the confidence you get just from doing that shifts the atmosphere. Of course, the vibrations of your speech is what shifts the atmosphere too. But you doing it in the mirror and acting as if you're speaking to a crowd of people, that, yeah, it changes your personal frequency. It changes the frequency in whatever room you're in. It changes the frequency of whatever building you're in. Then you're in a new paradigm. You're in a new paradigm within your own pendulum. It can be scary. If you live with people, it'd be like, oh, what are you doing in the bathroom? Or what are you doing in your room? Why are you saying that? Like, that can be scary. And people can start treating you different because you're loving yourself. That can be very scary. But that's because they don't love themselves. If they actually listen to what you were saying, they could be like, huh, well, maybe I could do that too. But instead of doing that, they want to judge you. It's like, you're saying I love myself. You're saying that I am financially free. I have passive income. I am beautiful. I love my children. You're saying those things. Well, just do it. Well, sometimes saying it is part of doing it. Well, Ozzy Ross said, I am sowing to the church. Okay. And so, I said and so like 4 times. Probably more than that in this video. But, you know. Just continuing on. I'm almost done too. When it comes to transforming your own life, it's, it's way deeper than just making different decisions. You have to be mentally ready for the decisions you're even making. Like, of course, you could get up and just be like, I'm finna go jog today. You could definitely do that. Definitely.
Oh, that's right.
Mm-hmm. It's just like, are you mentally ready for the fact that you're going to be tired? Are you mentally ready for the fact that you need to drink more water? Like, are you preparing yourself logically too? Or are you just finna go up and jog? Like, there's nothing wrong with that. You can do that. Sometimes it takes that cold turkey, like, I'm just going to do it. Sometimes it takes that. But
Did you say cold turkey?
cold turkey.
called turkey?
Yes.
What is that type of food supposed to be?
So you can have some cold turkey, but I don't mean food or animal. I mean a way of doing something instead of gradually doing it. When someone abruptly does something or suddenly does something out of seemingly nowhere, then that's called cold turkey.
That just means like a type of turkey?
No, it's not a type of turkey. It has nothing to do with turkey. It's just a phrase, a figure of speech. And so, again, I said, and so again. That is, I'm catching myself. I'm catching that. It's not a bad thing. It's just I noticed I did it a
You
lot.
never said and so again. You never said that.
Yeah. When sometimes some things might be cold turkey. So that's fine. That's cool. It's just every single decision in life may not be abrupt and all of a sudden. There's things that take preparation and time, careful time and planning for. Of course, you can't plan everything. Of course, the divine is the main planner and the guider and all those good stuffs. Because like I went to the bank yesterday, right? I was intending to do something, but I had to remember, no matter what happens, God is still on my side. So did I want what I wanted to happen? Did it happen? No, but it came with some sort of condition. So it's not that it'll never happen. It just didn't happen that day, and I have to be okay with that. I got some other things accomplished. I did some other fun stuff that I enjoyed, and that was okay for the day. No is never, usually is never no 100%. Usually no, not right now. There's different reasons for that. So depending on your situation, depending on your circumstance, you're going to receive an answer that you may not want to hear at the time, but you just have to be okay with it. Got to roll with the punches of life. But even me taking the steps to go out of my way to go to the bank, I could have just been like, oh, well, they're going to say no, so I'm not even going to try. I can say that I tried because I didn't fail. It's just I had a list of things that I had to accomplish first before the answer is all the way yes. And that is okay. Because the lady at the bank, she just sounded like one of my spirit guides. Like, oh, well, you're on the right track. You're on the right track. It's just I'm not all the way there yet with what's necessary. And so all I need to hear is that I'm on the right track, really. Because y'all know we've been talking about business expansion a lot on this channel. And, taking certain steps. Hustling and grinding, I know how to make the money. So that's not the issue. But as far as operating as a business rather than a hustle, that's what I'm moving toward. So you have to have certain things set up with financial institutions. Even if it's not a bank specifically, you still have to have things set up a certain way to operate as a business. No matter what your profits are. Like, that's the thing too. Like, people think you have to have crazy profits to have relationships with financial institutions, and it's like, that's not true. You don't have to have crazy profits to have certain things set up. Sure, to apply for certain loans and to apply for certain credit and apply for certain benefits, sure, you have to have certain profits. But just to have certain things set up for your security, no. You don't always have to have crazy profits to acquire those things or to have those things in place. Same thing with being natural. You don't have to wear an afro to be natural. You don't have to wear locks to be natural. You can wear your hair however you want to wear your hair as long as it's natural. Everything's not a statement, but people want to make things, a statement all the time, and it's tiring. Everything you do is some sort of political activism when you just want to live life. You do what you want to do to live life, not because of societal standards. Whatever that society may be. Doesn't have to be, like I said, doesn't have to be mainstream society. Just the people around you. Even people in the spiritual space where it's like, oh, well, why are you talking to a bank? Why are you talking to a financial institution anyway? Forget the matrix. Well, I still live in the matrix. And I know how this stuff works. So, in order for me to have the lifestyle that I desire, certain things in the matrix just have to make sense. That's just how life works.
Can I turn this up now?
If you want to go to the other room, because I'm on video right now. I'm finna turn it off in a second, but, Okay. So, I got this. I'm gonna clip this in part. I just finished the whole ponytail. So now, just gonna shake this out a little bit. Okay. Ozzy Ross said, I love God all the time. I love God. That's great for you. That is great. So, just shaking this out. Get whatever little stray hairs out. Okay. I'm gonna braid this. Then we're gonna conceal the ends like I did the other side with some oil. Okay. So just braiding this. I love that you enjoyed this pep talk, this self-love, self-care conversation. Do what you need to do to get into a new headspace. Do what you need to do to change your life personally. No, you can't always think about the people around you, what's best for my family, what's best for me and my friends, even what's best for me and my business partners. Sometimes it's just you. Sometimes it is just you. The people at your job don't matter. The people at your school don't matter. It's just you. The most you have to be concerned about is your children. Because at the end of the day, even if you're having that situation with the other parent, with your kids, it's not about what that other parent wants. It's about what's necessary for the children to be in the best position for them. Of course, your own personal life circumstances affect how your children are. But if it's to a detriment of the child, you really got to consider what the heck is going on. You have to learn when to be selfish and when to not be selfish. Ozzy said, I read the word last night. That is great. Okay, so we're at the end, the tip part. Okay, so now I'm finna get some oil and just run it down the ponytail. Okay, so just a little bit of oil here. Just a little bit. So starting at the ends and just doing this. Now this is all the maintenance I'm doing on this ponytail for the time being. I don't think I'm going to be doing too much with this because, like, while I do take care of it, it is at the end of the day synthetic, and it's just a ponytail that I can take off and put back on. Okay. All right. So I got two little pigtail looking things going. I'm gonna put this in the net. And then we're done. So ladies, I greatly appreciate you watching this on your evolution journey. My goal is to assist in being an example, and you can do it too. That's all I care about, is you can do it too. You can do more than I'm doing.
The ancestors that are talking to the raincorns?
Yes. My son just said, are you talking about the ancestors that are talking to... Did you say talking to you through the rainicorns or talking through you to the rainicorns?
I was talking about the rainicorns.
The rainicorns, okay. But yes, that's what I'm saying. And that's what I'm talking to. Oh yeah, so...
I really wished I had another slime toy or a glitter slime toy.
Oh, so you're manifesting some slime?
Mm-hmm.
It's on the way. That's how that works. All right. Shalom, rainicorns. I will see y'all in the next one. Tawada.